Hey folks, Mac T back, and we are going to jump into an oil filter video. That's right, you've seen me go over a few oil filters, but this time I have two Purolator Boss filters. Yes, two of them. One's leaking a little bit of oil, and here's the deal. I didn't mark them. One has 100 hours on it, and the other one has 200 hours. So since I didn't mark them and I don't remember which one has the hours on it, we're going to open them up and see, can we tell a difference between a 200-hour filter and a 100-hour filter, and then also check the inside of these Purolator Boss filters to see what's in them and determine how good a filter is it, because I have 4 other filters we can compare to in another video. But let's go ahead and open these up with that brake filter cutter that I have and see what's actually in these filters. Now we have this filter here. Just gonna break out I went to the store and I think this filter is leaking oil. This one is, so we'll let that one set. We'll open this one. I do not know which one has the oil hours on it, so we're just gonna go ahead and open it up. First thing I found out you want to do is go ahead and grab that ring right off of there. You always want to get that off. Makes it easier to cut the filter. Then we're just going to slide her in there. Turn this. There we go. And then we can just start turning it. Now get this cleaned off. And there are some things that you can do to make your life easier on these, but you just turn it. We'll just torque it down just a little bit more. And I was told you could use a filter cap on this to make it easier, and I said, nah, I'm strong enough to do this. So we're just going to go ahead and do our cutting this way, because I think I'm man enough to do it. I don't know. I think we're cutting through it now. There we go. Look at that. Nice and messy. There's a lot of oil in this thing yet. But here we go. We got all the top and bottom and everything else on there. So we got this. So let me get another rag to help soak up some of the oil. Nice and messy, isn't it? Holy cow, look at that. But I knew that would happen. So anyway, we got this one here. Cut open. There's the cap on it. That was sitting in this way. And then this is the filter, gasket, and everything else. So let me go ahead and clean this up. And we'll set this off to the side and cut the other one open. After we get all this cleaned up here. There we go. This is a messy job, so have plenty of rags on hand. But now we got the filter, got everything setting here. So let's go ahead and open up the next one. I don't really care. This is just an old piece of what they call it, drywall. So that's what I decided to use on that. That is a big mess. But anyway, we do have the filter cut open. So now we have to decide, what do we have here? Let's get everything situated so that we can see what we got. Get it all in here the right way. But we have this one here as far as the parts and pieces. As you can see, all this right here. And then we'll go ahead and get this one out, get it all situated, and it's still leaking oil. This filter got a lot of oil in it yet. Still filled up the can in here too. So got a lot of oil still in that filter. But this is it. This is what we got. And I'm going to tell you all right now, looking at them, I cannot tell a difference. There's absolutely no difference. I can tell whether or not one filter has 100 hours on it or one filter has 200 hours. As you can see, both filters side by side, there's no difference. Absolutely no difference between 100 hours and 200 hours. So the Purolator Boss apparently does a good job of filtering oil, and I don't know, it's a toss-up, folks. This is the same filter, as you can see, and there's no difference between 100 or 200. One of these is 200 hours and one is 100, and you cannot tell the difference. So I'm going to say that this is a great filter for your vehicle that you want to drive, and it is not showing any damage, anything else. It is a really great looking filter at this point. Sorry for the voiceover of this, but I have this filter here. This is the Purolator Boss filter that I am going to utilize a razor knife to cut the filter open. And the media was surprisingly easy to cut. It was a very hard media, but it cut easy, which, you know, I didn't expect, but it was working pretty good, and I was rather surprised. So I went through and I was cutting this media, and remarkably it came apart pretty easy. I was really surprised, like I said. But got this taken apart just a bit, had to work at it, and eventually I did get it apart. Had to recut a few places here, as you can see. And once I did get it down to the core, which is the internal filter part, I did get it off. I utilized my ratchet here to give me a little more leverage to push on it, and it busted right free, as you can see here. And surprisingly enough, it came apart pretty clean, which impressed me in that as far as cutting it open. But you do have to have a very sharp razor knife to get this thing to let go. But this filter I have here, I do not know, is it either 100 hours or 200 hours? I could not tell, and I'm doing a closer examination. As you saw, I just tossed off the metal clip that was holding the filter together there at the seam. So now I'm cutting the other end to break it free further down to the center core support, and I will be getting that end cap off here in just a second. And that is the cap part that has the valve on the end. So it comes out like an accordion, and it's all one piece, and then the metal part was gone. But now you can see the inside perforations on it is simply a tube with a lot of perforations in it. Now I was looking at the filter, and it's almost like an accordion. I'm bouncing it back and forth, and it is remarkably holding its shape compared to all the other past filters that I've went through. In the back side of it, you can see has a membrane. That plastic or polymer membrane that is on the back can only, I assume, help filter the media a lot better. So I'm stretching it out here, trying to get an idea how long it is, and also I'm inspecting it for any heavy metals that I can literally see with the naked eye, and I'm really not finding much. Once in a while I see a little glimmer of something, and I'm not so sure if it's, you know, from the oil or from the cut open process that I did or anything like that. But I checked it pretty thoroughly visually and did not see anything that was really concerning to me. But I think I did find something here in a little bit that you'll see, and it was just like a little solid material. I don't know what it's from. It could be wear from timing chain guides, or it could be anything that was popping up there. It wasn't necessarily metal. It was more of a black in color stuff, as you see on my finger up close here. Little bit of maybe a metal or a plastic. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it was rather insignificant, and the other filter didn't look any different, so I couldn't tell which one was the 100 hours or the 200 hours. But that is basically it for the used oil filter that I went through, and we're just going to go ahead and wrap all this up. Wow, I'm impressed with the Purolator Boss filter. I think it is one of the better filters on the market. There might be others that are slightly better, but by looking at it, you could see that it had a filter media front where it was exposed to the oil. Then it had a membrane attached to the back to help add with that filtration. It was some sort of a poly membrane that would definitely help in filtration. So it had the rigidity, it had the stretch in back, it kept its form very good. Overall, it was a great synthetic filter, and discerning whether or not one filter had 100 hours on it and the other one had 200 hours, I could not tell the difference. I looked and looked and looked, and there is nothing that would tell me that either one was 100 hours and the other one was 200 hours. So that tells me a lot about that filter in how it behaves for the long term and the oil changes and everything else. So that Purolator Boss filter that I dissected and tore apart, yeah, that is a great filter, and that is my go-to. I utilize the Purolator Boss for all my oil filter needs and keep using it because it has not failed on me once, and it does everything that I need to do. And I also do oil testing based on this filter, and I've never seen particulates come up in high levels using this filter. So I'm going to stick with it for continuity's sake as far as how the testing is done for my oil testing for used samples. That way I have everything on a level plane when I'm doing this testing. But this Purolator Boss was an excellent filter, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. With that being said, make sure you join up on MACTFORDEDGE YouTube and Facebook, and also MACT Garage on YouTube and Facebook, along with MACTGarage.com website for all of your parts, information, and social media and everything else on this web page. You can get on there, buy the stickers, t-shirts, and everything else. Put yourself on the map so people know who you are and where you're at, and help other members of the community. That being said, my feet hit the floor today, and I'm having a great day, and I want you to have a great day too. And the Band of One's going to toss out a couple of tunes for you, along with Mercy Girl and a couple of one-liners to end the whole thing.
Thank you for watching MacT's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Girl production.